Quite all right, but what we lack in quantity, we make up for in quality. Isn't that right? Having said that, I've had more people in my living room. I've got a big living room. No, I haven't really. So, how are we? How was dinner? Who ate dinner? Who's actually staying here then? Oh, quite a few of you. Quite a few of you. That's good. That's good. Well, are you ready for this this game then? Our only game of the evening session, should I say? Well, our first game. Our first and last game. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'll bring the players out. Once again, welcome to the International Arena here at Potter's Resort for the just retirement World Bowls Indoor Championships 2016. Thank you very much. Do you know, there's less of you and there was more of a cheer tonight than there was this afternoon. So we won't worry about that. Oh, yes. Look, Panto season's over now, sorry madam. So let's bring out the players. First out, from the Channel Islands, winner of the Under-25 Channel Islands singles, Scott Baxter. Give him a round of applause. Scott will be playing with the Tiger Bowl, size 4 heavy, I do believe. And playing Scott from Canada, former US National Open singles champion, Mike Bester. And Mike is using the Taylor Bowls, a size 4 heavy as well. Thank you very much. We'll be handing you over to the commentary with Janice Glover. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Sean, there, and happy birthday to you. It's Sean's birthday today, so we'll wish him many happy returns of the day, Sean. And we're back with you for the live and in full HD coverage of the World Bowls Tour World Championships here from Potter's Resort. I'm joined in the commentary box tonight by one of the team of umpires at the WBT, Francis Fletcher. Thanks for joining me tonight, Francis.
No problem. Good evening, everyone.
Well, I think we better explain to the viewers to start with, and I will throw this over to you, Francis, is what this game actually is, because it is 2 sets of 7 ends, no tie break.
Yes, that's right. This is one of the latter stages of the singles preliminary rounds to qualify for the main draw. So there's 2 groups, everybody plays everybody else. It's based solely on sets 1, then it would go to shots in the eventuality of a tie within the group. And for that reason there's no shot clock. So there's 7 ends, no tie break, straight finish. If it's 1-1, that's the way it goes into the league programme.
Because I think we've had the situation before at the World Championships where a game like this, it's ended at 1 set all, and the crowds have sort of wondered why haven't we gone into a tie break. Well, Mike Bester's already played his first game in the round robin. I believe he played Neil Furman, and I think he lost that one, so I think Scott Baxter will be looking tonight to make an impression here. But Mike Bester's set up a very good start here. He helped in commentary in the last game, so perhaps he got some tips from the big boys.
Hopefully he did, because this is a totally different environment to the bowler's bar green in the lounge area. It's far more concentrated here, shorter in length, and totally different environment. And it's probably better that they don't experience a shot clock, even though they're in the main arena, because they have enough to think about just qualifying for the main draw.
Oh, a great bowl here from Mike Bester. Well played. Mike's no stranger to the World Championships here. He's qualified a couple of times from Canada in the singles, and he was saying earlier he's also qualified with his brother in the pairs. Scott Baxter. Well, he's no stranger to the portable rink, and this is where it'll get confusing.
3 red.
Because Scott Baxter, who now represents Jersey, used to play for Scotland, and he was one of the junior players that played in the Scottish junior finals that we hold at the Scottish International Open at Perth. So he actually played on the portable rink way back when he was a wee lad. Well, he's under a bit of pressure here. 4 down, first end, 7 end set. It looks closer here.
Two shots, Mike Bester.
So Mike Bester from Canada, he was a Canadian qualifier, if you were listening in earlier. He came through the qualifying process like you would here in the European UK qualifiers. Grueling process, several games in a day, and for Mike Bester, ever so slightly different because all their greens are outdoor. So he qualified outdoor to come to this. Hasn't had a bowl in his hand since last August, till the point he came here.
29.5 metres.
Scott Baxter is here because he won the World Indoor Bowls Council singles. That was over in Jersey. I was there that day. I was representing England in the singles, and Scott Baxter beat a familiar face off the portable rink. He beat Mike Stepney in the final, a really good final. It's amazing how you carry these pieces of useless information in your head.
Better start from Scott on this end.
Yeah, they've both had a practice on the rink, so, and it is the same for both of them, as you mentioned before. Prior to this, they've been out on the bowler's bar rink.
One green.
Don't forget, you'll find us on Twitter, hashtag World Bowls Tour 1. We're also on Facebook and YouTube. Chat if you have any questions, particularly real questions. Francis is
Two green.
here this evening. And if you can't stay with us tonight, don't forget you can get the results on worldbowlstour.tv. Mike's playing a big runner. He said he liked to strike. It was one of his shots he played a lot.
Must run in the family because Ryan is no shrinking violet when it comes to using weight.
A lot of the overseas, particularly the Canadians and the Australians, don't mess about. Of course, if the jack is flicked out, it goes on the re-spot, which does bring us to a question we did have earlier, Francis. We mentioned in the
Two green.
previous pairs game the words killed end, and a number of our viewers didn't understand what that actually meant. What does, when we say it's a killed end, what does that mean?
Just wait for this bowl to come down. Okay, a killed end is only valid for the third end of the tie break. So it's a one-off opportunity. You can nominate to kill the end with any of the 4 bowls that are played, whether it's singles or pairs. And by killed, it means that the jack goes outside the side confines of the ring and is not respotted. The end is replayed from the start. You can only kill it once, although, as I said just now, you can nominate to kill with all 4 bowls. Whether you succeed or not is irrelevant. You can still nominate
Two
all
shots,
4,
Scott Baxter.
and each side can do that once and once only in the third end of the tie break. If the jack goes in the ditch and is still within the confines of the ring, then it's neither killed nor respotted. you just play to the jack in the ditch as you would normally.
Thanks for that, Francis. I made an attempt at an answer earlier, and I don't know whether it sounded concise enough, so that's why I thought we'd ask the expert. Scott picked up a 2 there, so we're all square now at 2 all after 2 ends. It's great to have viewers actually watching that aren't bowlers, Francis, so it's good we're getting those sort of questions coming through.
Well, perhaps one or two may even take the sport up. There's always opportunities in, certainly in the home countries and most of the Commonwealth countries, so the more people we get interested in the sport and actually take it up, the better it is.
There's a few come into the auditorium here now. They do love the bowls here. Scott looks down a good track here. The players, if they're top half of the draw, if the top of the draw, they're like Mike Bester used to play with red bowls, and Scott being bottom of the draw, he has to play with green bowls. I know neither of these players are playing with their own bowls, but the World Bowls Tour carry a pool of bowls that they can choose from. Scott Baxter certainly played a good bowl there.
2 green.
It's always good experience to be out here on the portable rink, as it's proved in the pairs to some extent. The pairs that have already had a game out on the portable rink have seemed to get into their stride a little quicker than the ones to play their first games out there.
3 green.
Not sure if that's got second shot off Mike.
Scott needs to be covering the back, I think.
Yeah, that's what he's looking for. I don't know whether he's perhaps travelling as
Too
far
green.
as he wanted. Marker Mike Davis has just signalled it's 2 green.
So Mike's had a look at the angles. Don't see him being short on this. May just try a backhand draw to nudge the bowl onto the jack.
Looks on a good height. Might have just overreached it.
Two shots. Scott Baxter.
2 shots to Scott, gives him a 4-2 lead after 3 ends. Don't forget we're playing 2 sets of 7 ends, very similar to the qualifiers where we're used to playing 7 end sets.
Jack length 28.5 metres.
Hope you're enjoying the coverage out there this afternoon, Francis. We had people on the sand in Thailand tuning in
Wow.
with having lobster thermidor with a glass of wine, we got told.
Probably on the beach as well. What could be better than that?
And watching at bowls, listening into our commentary. Two loose openers there. All on his pace with this one, I think.
Still a yard to spare.
I think Bester's from Ontario in Canada.
1 green.
And Scott is from St Clements in Jersey. Like I say, he won the WIBC Championship at his home club in Jersey. Played exceptionally well. It was a great event, organised by the World Indoor Bowls Council. They looked after us exceptionally well over there. The ladies champion and the men's champion of that event get entry into the Worlds. The men's champion goes into the playoff section of the overseas, and the ladies champion goes into the ladies world match play. And the ladies champion was Alison Merrion, MBE. Good weight, Francis, just tight of line.
Yeah, it's difficult when coming onto a new surface like this. Different environment altogether. Only on the fourth end. Takes a little bit of time to settle. Probably more so for Mike, having not played indoors much at all. Good last bowl.
1 shot, Mike Bester.
I think it's always easier to have a good end if your first bowl's close, otherwise you start scratching around for lines and lengths and it just avalanches from there.
Yes, if you want to get your first bowl close, it takes quite a bit of pressure off.
Jack length 25.5 metres.
I think in Sean Hathaway's opening he mentioned that Scott Baxter was the under-25 Channel Islands champion. I will just make the correction on that if we have any Channel Islands viewers. It was the under-35s. Well, Scott's
The
managed
last
to
hole, the
slot
gap is just over 2 foot.
a couple of bowls in the
This
head
one's
here,
an 18
but there's
inches
still a
short
fair
of
bit of
jack.
room. Well, we've had a couple of viewers' questions in. I'll firstly just say thanks, Mark Pope, for his question. That's one we will look into for you and we will get back to you. But the other question was about rink possession, Francis, and where a player should be when their ball comes to rest.
Yes, the law is quite clear on that, that you should be behind the mat or behind the head. It is a law which is frequently contravened. As umpires, we tend to look at players' body language. If the player on the mat receiving the possession of the rink isn't too bothered, then we won't do anything about it. The problem is once you start laying the law down like that, it can be detrimental to the game. So by and large, if it isn't causing a problem, we won't intervene with it. It's more particular in the full singles draw, the main draw with the shot clock, because as soon as the player's bowl comes to rest, the player in possession of the rink then gets 30 seconds and the clock is ticking, even if his opponent is contravening. So we tend to have a word in that case, to be fair to both players, so that they each get the full 30 seconds.
Oh, managed to get 2 away there, Mike. I'll be pleased with that, but still leaves quite a lot of room. Thanks for that, Francis. That, again, very concise answer. Again, the shot clock rules are different to the rules that the guys are playing out there. With this game, they would have to request to go to the head after they've played 2 bowls, but are allowed automatically to go and have a look at the head after 3. But the shot clock, they can actually, in theory, follow every bowl up, couldn't
2 shot,
they?
Scott back to
You
the
can. Your 30 seconds is entirely up to you how you use them. In the shot clock circumstances, possession of the rink is frequently contravened, in as much the player at the head will often wander back towards the mat while his opponent's bowl is in motion. As umpires and markers, we're conscious of which side of the rink they use, so they're not interfering with their opponent's side of the bowl and what's happening. We take a very relaxed approach about it. We're there to facilitate the game more than to dictate the way it's played.
Yeah, Scott Baxter picked up another 2 there, so that takes him 6-3 up with 2 ends to play. I think, as we've said before, if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask us, because now's the time to get them answered. Don't sit there being puzzled, why are they doing this or what's that about. We'll try and get your questions answered for you. I had one myself earlier today that was for Richard Madison, which was, why don't we use the shot clock in the pairs? And the official line came back for us that was, it would spoil the interaction of the players on the rink for the spectators. I'll give that answer out again in the pairs games tomorrow, in case the people that were interested in that question are not listening in tonight. But as promised, we'd get back to you. And as I mentioned earlier, Mike Pope, we will get back to you with your question as soon as we can. Of course, they could have a tied set in this as well, Francis. It's we'd score half a point each for that, I assume.
That's correct. The set scores are as they are. Squared sets, tied sets, half a point each. one point for the wing of the set, and it goes in towards the league programme. So even if you lose 1.5 to a half, that half could be crucial at the end of the day. And Scott certainly is in with a chance of qualifying for the main draw, as also his opponent is for tomorrow night. I'm not sure on Mike's situation, but perhaps he could just qualify depending on shot difference, although I'm not sure on that.
Well, both players coming to have a look at this head. Mike's currently holding 3 shots, which would tie the set up with one end to go.
I think it's only 2. It's very close.
Yeah, Mike Davis, our marker there, just saying he thinks it's just 2 to Mike Bester. If he could slot another one in here. We have just had one interesting question through about if a player is consistently short, is it worth swapping to a heavier bowl?
I think the simple answer to that is no. If you're consistently bowling short, you just need to swing your arm a bit more.
That was a great bowl from Mike Bester there.
Could possibly have made 4 with that little nudge on the jack.
Umpire Dan Blewett being called on to
3 red.
let us know what the situation is here with this last bowl. 3 have been declared to red, and they're measuring for 4. Very important at this stage. 6th end, 1 end to play. Is it all square, or is Mike Bester 1 up?
Three shots, Mike Bester.
Well, that takes us into an interesting final end of this first set. It's all square at 6 all.
First bowl very important on this end.
Shot length 29.5 metres.
Great view of the new set we have here at the World Indoor Bowls Championships. We had a Star Wars themed awards ceremony last night, and I do think the sets being well thought out. Well, Scott, you need to just reach this bowl, reach the jack. I think it's just under.
1 red.
Mike just needs to rearrange this a little bit. He's holding shot, but it's vulnerable now.
another good bowl, but as Francis said, it's still possible for Scott to just reach that level bowl. Touch the jack. Sure, Mike Davies will tell us.
Green.
Yeah, 1 green. Well, that's not in a bad position. It's best back, all 3 in a great row. Looks closer here. Oh no, it just gave up. I mean, we have said before that the portable rink does change different times of the day. I thought that, having watched a lot of bowls this afternoon, I thought that looked good for pace. Pulled up very abruptly. I think might be reaching into these. Bit of a target. He's got best back.
Nothing for short.
Looks under the line to
Fine.
me.
I felt he would have gone on the 3rd bowl with that one.
Scott selecting to take that shot, even though shots may count in the group. I think it was very dangerous there for him. So Scott Baxter takes the first set 7-6.
Jack length 28.5 metres.
Nice to still be receiving your questions through. I'm sure it's keeping Francis entertained for the evening. Another one for you, Francis.
Okay.
If the players feel they're struggling in the first set of a game, can they change their bowls for the second set?
Short answer is no. The bowls are checked before the start of the match. You can play with as many different bowls as you like from different sets on the trial ends. Once you nominate the set with which you're going to start the match, that is the set you will finish the match with.
And the other one on that we've had is, well, I think we can both answer this one really for them, Francis, is both these players seem to be favouring the forehand. Is that unusual?
1 green and a measure.
I think the answer really is from being out there and having a practice. All forehands on this rink are very good, both sides of the rink at the moment. It is a portable rink, so that does mean that it has a habit of changing as the 2.5 weeks progress. But at the moment, I think that just tends to be down to which hand the player prefers. Have you sort of got any other thoughts on that one, Francis?
Not really. It is personal preference. Some players will play their forehand all the time or their backhand all the time. Some will figure out which is the better hand on the surface they're playing. Generally, I think outdoors, in singles, you would tend to play one side of the rink, so forehand up, backhand back, so that you're over the same stretch of grass, rather than playing, as they say, around the clock, so either counterclockwise or clockwise, which means that you're playing over different surfaces every few minutes. It's personal preference, what you think is working for your bowls at the time.
Yeah, Scott Baxter's just played a very good bowl there off his backhand. I think certainly in singles you tend to certainly play your first two bowls off the hand you feel most comfortable with. But most of the players out there at the moment are saying all the portable rink is reacting very similarly. Right, best to bringing out the guns again.
Four shots, Scott Baxter.
The perfect opening end in a 7-end set for Scott Baxter. He picks up a 4. He won the first set, so he has 1 point from that. And he's now after another point from his second set. Just to remind people that might have only just tuned in, this is part of the overseas round robin group play to get into the main draw. We've seen that a few times today, Francis. Players over delivering the jack.
Strangely enough, the jack seems to go across the surface a lot quicker than the bowls so far in the last couple of days. Close to the ditch with this one as well.
Well, there you go. Oh, that is a good rule for you then, because both players have sent the jack off, and now Mike Davis just picked it up and put it on the tee.
That's correct, and Scott now has the option of placing the mat anywhere he wants on the centre line, from the tee to the minimum spot. So the jack is fixed on the tee, mat can go wherever Scott would like it.
Otherwise, if they both kept doing that, we could be here all night.
Yes, if one is playing short jacks and one's playing long jacks, it could have been a long night. So laws tend to change every so often. Quite a few years ago now, you actually had 4 casts of the jack before a set jack came in. That was often tedious, so that was cut down to 2.
Looks better here, Mike. All on your pace.
One red.
Mike needs a good bowl in here, otherwise this set could run away very, very quickly.
He looks on a good line. I don't know. His weight looks a touch over. might just make it back.
I think some of the viewers will be questioning why he wasn't playing the backhand there. He's got a bowl to sit down, two to rest on at the back. It's a good question. Personal preference, obviously Mike thinks he can draw it on the forehand. I think the majority of club players in particular would go for the rest at the back. But it's all down to personal preference, how you think the rink is playing, what you think the bowl will do on that side, having not played many bowls down there.
This looks good. This looks to be shot. It sits down.
One green.
Confirmed 1 green. As you mentioned before, Francis, I think Mike really needs to win this end. Certainly doesn't want to let the set run away from him. He only just lost the first set. He said he just loves it playing out there on the portable at Potters. Well, and what's his pace like? Line's very good.
One shot, Scott Baxter.
So Scott takes a 5-0 lead after 2 ends in this set. As you mentioned before, the other game, Francis, of this group's at the same time tomorrow night, where Scott faces Neil Furman, who actually at the awards ceremony last night got the award for overseas player. He's ranked 18 in the World Bowls Tour rankings. He's one of the most successful overseas players we've had on the circuit.
Yes, regular attender at both the World Championships and the International Open. It's no mean feat for an overseas player to be so close to the top 16. It shows good degree of skill to accumulate ranking points and maintain them.
So he will be wanting to make his way through a few rounds here at the World Championships if he can. It's double points ranking wise for the players, and he is one of the ones that's close to breaking the top 16.
2 green.
Scott's following this bowl up. It looks a good track. If he's holding another shot here again, Mike Bester is in trouble again.
At least he reached for the second bowl, which gives him options now with this one.
We've just been asked, some people just tuning in, could you explain the round robin situation again? What's the format for that?
Yeah, the overseas qualifiers are in a league system, so they each play each other. 2 sets of 7 ends, no tie breaks, 1 point for each set won, half a point for each set tied, and whoever's top of the league standings after tomorrow night's game will go into the main draw as the overseas qualifier.
Thanks, Francis. The other game in this group was played out on the bowlers bar rinks here at Potters Resort. I've got lots of rinks here. Really is a fantastic place to bowl under the portable rink. When we remove it, there's a 6-rink international arena that holds a lot of events. And they have 6 rinks out at the bowler's bar, and then not a lot of people realise, but upstairs they have the 2 original rinks where it all started. Gone for the runner again. He got a result out of that. He got it off Scott Baxter's bowl. Not sure what the situation is here. Mike will tell us shortly.
One shot, Scott Baxter.
That's another shot to Scott Baxter. Means he takes a 6-0 lead after 3 ends in this second set. This will really help for his aggregate points within the group if he can keep this going.
And unlike the main draw singles, all 7 ends must be played even if somebody can't win the set, because shots could count in the end. So even if there's an end to spare and Mike can't win, it would still have to be played to the end.
To some extent it's quite good that these players are getting to have a game out here on the portable. Especially nice to see the overseas players here. Well, looks on the track again, Scott here. Certainly settled down in this second set.
Yes.
Mike just managed to draw in shot there. Scott looks down a very good track here. It just touched the jack. Yeah, if it wrestles in there, we'll get shot. Yeah, there you go. There's a classic example of the rule within these 7-end sets. It is quite important for Mike Bester to have a look at this head, but he requested that off our marker, Mike Davies, who said, yeah, you can come up and have a look. Not often refused, but sometimes it is, depends on circumstances.
Generally, we will apply common sense. If the player can't see the jack from the mat, that's the first concern. If the jack is visible from the mat, then it's likely that the request would be denied. Probable exception to that would be perhaps the last end, where angles and distances need to be seen But generally, if the player can see the jack, then the answer would be no.
One red.
So nationalities represented in the overseas singles playoff group. We have Canada, USA, Hong Kong, Israel and the Channel Islands. There were other qualifiers who went straight into the main draw from Australia and New Zealand, and I believe South Africa had a qualifier who was unable to attend. So 8 different countries represented overseas, but the 5 that go into the playoff group, 2 of them are here playing now. Neil Philman from the US plays tomorrow night against Scott Baxter, and then we had Queenie Lai from Hong Kong and Shalom Ben Army from Israel.
Jack length 29.5 metres.
So we're moving into end 5 now. Bester's managed to get himself on the score line. That was very useful information off Francis there. He just did a quick jot down of the overseas. Of course, going back a bit, we used to have a couple of overseas in the top 16. Probably the most recent and well known was Kelvin Kirko from Australia. Well, Mike got himself on the card there, but just struggling at this end. 3 ends to go. I think he might have just knocked him in there. It's a bit of a sigh from the crowd.
Last ball. It's 2 foot short of Jack High.
And don't forget, we start again here live tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, where we see the first of the main singles draw, Mervyn King versus Stephen Harris. And then we have the 2 pairs finals.
Yes.
Start off the first pairs final with an all-Scotland affair. Colin Walker and Ronnie Duncan plays Paul Foster and Alec Marshall. And the second semi-final, Andy Thompson and Mark Royal versus Darren Burnett and Stuart Anderson. As we mentioned earlier, the game tomorrow night, same time, same place, is Scott Baxter versus Neil Furman. Great day's bowling again tomorrow. The two semi-finals of the pairs will be cracking games, and the opener with Mervyn King will be very interesting. Mervyn's been putting some time in on the rink, and he plays the Welsh qualifier Stephen Harris. Well, Scott's just trying to arrive to get some sort of result. He's just unfortunate again, really. Don't think he'll be panicking too much. He's got a 5-shot lead, but as we mentioned earlier, shots do count in these round robins. Just a tad wide with this, I think, Francis.
That's a shame because it's shot bowl is his, but it is vulnerable. And really, if he doesn't score this end, the set's gone.
Yeah, which Scott Baxter will want that point for this set on the board. He'll want the shots as well. He'll know he's got a mean opponent tomorrow night in Neil Furman, as we've just said. Number 18 in the world. Looks wide. Oh, he's not happy with that.
One shot, Mike Bester.
So, one shot to Mike Bester. Scott Baxter has a 6-2 lead after 5 ends. 2 ends to play in this 7-end set. So, Mike Bester joined me in commentary for the last pairs game. I did ask him at the time if he was available to come in for one of the games tomorrow, and he said no, because I'm flying back tomorrow. So he must have an assumption that after his first game or the first couple of games in his round robin, he didn't stand in a strong position. He said he wanted to have a strong finish though. And of course, to be fair to everybody in a group, you try and win every game. And Scott Baxter said earlier, yeah, aware of the situation, but also aware that a player can sometimes relax in those circumstances and then play really well. So both players knew what they were facing on the rink.
I think really personal pride would dictate that you do your best and try and take a win away from the portable rink as well as the bowler's bar. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for many overseas players, and if you can win on the portable, it would look very good on your CV.
Oh, good ball here from Mike, just needs to ease a touch. Closer here, I think, Mike. Yeah, that's a good ball.
1 red. Yes. The gap is about 10 inches past jack line. One green.
Good again, all on his pace. Just overplayed it 1 green. Chance of Scott scoring a 2. I mean, if he needed to go for shots, there's a great shot there to pop the red ball out the head and score a 4, but
I think he'll go for it.
it's
Just slightly overdraw and set the ball down. Definite 3, possible 4.
there's not a lot of danger there, I don't think. He looks close. He actually looks very close to this. Well, yeah,
Great
played it.
effort. Certainly makes 3.
2 shots, Scott Baxter.
Just a bit unfortunate there. Didn't just quite get it full. That gives him the guarantee of the set. So therefore he takes 2 points away from this. Doesn't want to drop any shots at this end now, Scott. Yeah, great opener. He's got 6-shot lead. It's also 6 going into a group table points wise. Mike was very successful this year, qualifying through in the singles and the pairs with his brother. Just failed on the playoff for the pairs.
I think these 2 points are going to put Scott at the top of the table. But Neil can still qualify with a 2-0 win tomorrow night. So all to play for effectively. Winner takes all tomorrow evening when Scott plays Neil Furman from the US.
Like I say, interesting game that tomorrow night. As Neil is quite experienced. I know he's been suffering this year. He had a damaged toe, but it's all strapped up. And he got through to the portable rink in the overseas pairs, so
3 green.
could be in for a good game tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Scott Baxter's holding 3 shots here. Just looks wide again.
Last ball for Scott then on its way. Looking for a count of 4 just to add to the shot difference, which could be in the equation tomorrow night.
3 green.
It's just 3 green. But that would really help his shots. Don't forget, this is the last end, folks. We don't go into any sort of tie break. Scott's won both sets. He plays again tomorrow night in the final of the group games against Neil Furman. Might as well finish off with a strike, Mike.
2 shots, second set, Scott Baxter.
So, Scott Baxter takes both sets tonight. I'd like to thank you all out there for your company. I'd like to thank Francis for joining me. Don't forget to join us again at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen.
for Mervyn King versus Stephen Harris.
I must apologise.
Night
as well.
all.
Of course, it's Janice
Good night from
Brown
me.
That's commentating, not Janice Glover. I can't even read my own writing. So, congratulations to Scott. He obviously progresses. And yes, so ladies and gentlemen, I will then see you in the. Well, it wasn't me. I was playing darts. I'm terribly sorry. It's a round robin, so he's got another match to progress. Sorry, I've just been informed. Thank you very much. Thank you. I thought I'd done something wrong, and I was right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a round robin, so there is another game to go. With that in mind, join us again tomorrow, 10 o'clock, play starts. For the singles, once again, for those of you who are staying up, of course, tonight, then I shall see you in the theatre. For those of you who are either going home or the kettle's on, then enjoy whatever you do. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.